Hi y'all. In this video I'm just going to be showing my vacuum pot and percolator collection. I'll do a pot of coffee in the glass beehive Sunbeam C30, and then I'll switch to the process that I took to remove the original seal from a Sunbeam C30, one of the metal ones. I realized after filming everything in this video that I didn't explain how these work, so I'll just go over briefly how the vacuum pots work. The C30 as C30A, C30C, C50, all of these are vacuum pots versus like back here, this one is a percolator. So the vacuum pots work I'll show with this glass one because it's easy to see. So there's two chambers here. So you have the bottom and the top part. They are separated by a seal, and the seal seals off the bottom from the top. It's an airtight seal. It has to be airtight or it won't work. The only way for air or water to get from the bottom to the top is through this funnel, like this, the bottom part, like the bottom, this funnel here. So when on the stovetop ones, like this one, you put it on the stove with water in it, and the water will start to boil, and the steam produced will increase the pressure in the bottom part. That increase in pressure will, the volume of steam will force the water to go up through the funnel into the top part, through the filter, into the top part where all the coffee is. There's a filter in all of the vacuum pots. There's a filter between the bottom and the top. The water goes up through the filter, and then on the stovetop ones, there's a gap between the bottom of the pot and the bottom of the funnel. So there will be a little bit of water there left to boil to maintain that pressure long enough for the water to stay in the top and brew the coffee or tea or whatever you have in there. So with the stovetop ones, you control how long it stays, how long it brews by how long you have the heat on the pot. So once you take it off, at least with this glass one and even with this metal one here, they cool off pretty quickly and they draw down pretty quickly, because when you take it off the heat, the water drops below, whatever water's left in there and whatever steam is left in there drops below boiling temperature. The steam condenses and sucks the water from the top, same way back through the filter, so none of the grounds get through, but the brewed coffee gets through, and it goes back down, and that's what you have. You just take the top off and it's done. Slight difference in the electric ones here is that the water will, you put it on the high setting or the brew setting, and the water will boil the same way as on the stovetop one, but this has a thermostat which is set to tick this from high to low when it gets above boiling temperature. So almost all of the water, if not all of the water, will boil out of the bottom pot, and the whole top pot will be full of the water that was forced to the top, and then whatever was remaining will turn into steam. And so this will be pretty much dry at its peak, and then when it's on low, it's like a keep warm setting. It will drop below boiling temperature, and the steam will condense and suck it back through. So that's generally how they work. That's the only differences that I know of between the stovetop and the electric automatic ones. The whole timing of the electric one is just based on when does the thermostat in the bottom pot go above boiling temperature. At least if I'm understanding that correctly. If I'm not, let me know, but I think that pretty well explains it. Yeah. I wanted to thank Anthony on the Vacuum Pot Facebook group. Thanks for going through all of the effort that it took to remanufacture the seals for the Sunbeam C30. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I got 2 of these pots at thrift stores, and they were just shelf decorations for a few years. And I'd always kept an eye out for a replacement seal because they were both like bricks when I got them. I did have my C50 that I was using consistently before I even found the C30s. I had a C50. Actually, one was given to me, and then I got one that was working a little better, and I've been using that for probably 6 years now. And then it's really nice to finally be able to use these C30s. After seeing that there was a glass version available, I decided to look around a little bit for one, and I found one on Facebook Marketplace. It had to be shipped to me, but it was on Facebook Marketplace, just advertised as a vacuum pot top. I don't think that the seller quite knew what she had, but I don't think that I stole it by any means. I think I paid $30 for the pot plus shipping. So, if you can find a complete pot on eBay, you're probably going to be paying about as much as I paid for the whole setup. But anyway, so I have. I'll just go through all my pots here. Got that Farberware Superfast C30C. And then I have the glass beehive, and I think, which one do I have this on? I'm using my C30 as the bottom for the glass one. I originally got 2 of these. I got the C30C bottom pot separately because I wanted to have one paired to the glass, because I just had 2 and then the top of the glass one. So I got an extra bottom pot on eBay. So yeah, I have the C30C, C30. This one's a C30A with the repair. I have the C50, and then that's a Sears Kenmore. That was my first percolator that I got back in probably 2019. I drank coffee in that exclusively for years. It's kind of a bonus. I got the Sunbeam Radiant Control toaster. That actually, my landlord gave that to me. She was cleaning out a house, and she knew that I had some vintage appliances. She was like, "Do you want this old toaster?" I was like, "Yes, of course." And it works great. I have the Ward's glass one. I don't know what that's called. I have the Nicro. There's a Corey stovetop percolator back there. There's the Kent vacuum pot. I found that at an antique store. The Corey one I actually found in the garbage at a RV park I used to live in. There's the Universal Coffee-matic with the cool like wheat motif on it. Got that one mostly for a decoration. This stovetop, I think it's aluminum. It doesn't have a brand on it, but it works really well. And the Corningware and the Pyrex. But this is mostly about the C30 collection here. So I'll go ahead and start brewing a pot here. I never measure any of my coffee or water, so kind of just eyeballed the amount of water in there, and then eyeballed the coffee. So I'll do this very carefully, one-handed. One thing that I did on the new seal with the glass one is I did a light coating of coconut oil, just to make sure that it separates evenly every time. So I'll very carefully put that in here and then press down on it. Nice. I have my grounds here. All right, and I'm going to put the phone down for a second and start it. I'll come back when it starts making some noise. Just real quick, I realized I forgot to point out the newer Sunbeam Coffee Master. This one's a like a 70s drip pot. It was found in a free pile outside of a thrift store. So yeah, it doesn't make quite the same kind of coffee as the vacuum pots do, but it's a Sunbeam Coffee Master nonetheless. Alright, I have this plugged in and going now. Thought it might also point out the, I think it's a Kenmore branded plug timer. I love this little thing. I have it set to start coffee for me every morning, and it just looks right when paired against all of this other vintage stuff. So I got that plugged into here, it's on. One thing that I've noticed they do, and I think it might just be water that's left in the pot or that kind of got into it when I was cleaning it, it sizzles a little bit. I don't know if that's probably not a great thing, but maybe I should be a little more careful not to let water drip into the internals. But it doesn't seem to affect its function that much. Alright, it's starting to, I can hear a roar a little bit in there. I guess I can quickly go over the few differences I found between the C30, the C30A, and the C30C that I have. I guess I don't really know much about the C30C top. I don't know what those came with originally, but the C30C, the only difference I found is the little high-low switch is in its own compartment versus the C30 and C30A don't have that little compartment. The C30 had the top with the pipe as a spout, which I think is this one. Yeah, like the little straight spout. Versus the C30A had the cone type funnel. I mean, it's a funnel. Yeah, the cone versus the pipe. But that's really the only differences that I've seen. Oh, and the top. I don't know what top I don't know what lid the original glass one had. With the C30C I got came with this like plastic or bakelite one, and then the C30 and C30A came with the metal. Oh, there it goes. Nice hiss. All right. This thing's just so great. Like, one of the things I like about the C30s, and they seem to all act the same. The glass top doesn't really do much different than the metal ones. Compared to the C50's brew time, I think, is just a little longer. And I don't know, it doesn't make as... Maybe this is confirmation bias, or not confirmation bias, but like it's confirming what I've heard other people say about comparison between these two, at least online, that the C50 brews a little too long versus the C30s, and yeah, the C30s just make a little bit better coffee. I don't know what it is. I know the C50, the drawdown time, like when it sucks it back to the bottom, C50 does that. Like, it takes a lot longer for the C50 to draw down to back into the bottom. C30s, it was just like you saw here. It doesn't matter how high like how much water you have in there, like it draws down pretty quick. So yeah. All right, I will get a cup out and pour this. I'll do what I can to, I don't know. Okay, let me prop my phone up on something and take this off. All right. With the coconut oil, it makes it so much easier. Just a thin layer around the seal. I'll get my cup. And that's it. All right, I think the rest of this video I'll just cut to the process it took for me to replace the seal on one of my metal ones and then the glass one. So if you'd be into that, stick around, and that will be right now. Just to show the seal is hard as a rock. I already partially took this apart before. Which is good. So really the challenge is to get this seal, well, to get this plate out and to get the metal finger ring out of the seal. That is, again, a rock. So, let's see what I can do here. Chips. Crispy chips. I don't really care if I scratch the finger thing because it gets hidden, but I don't want to bend it. So I don't want to stab my table. Just crack this. And the fingers are meant to bend a little bit, so I figure if I crack the seal off, too bad. The seal is trash. That's pretty good. And I have one of the new seals. Well, I have a couple of the new seals because I also have the glass beehive over here. And I got to figure out how to take this seal off. It's not as crispy as this one, but it still has some considerable cracks in it, and it needs to be replaced. It looks like I need to unscrew the this whole collar from that, so we'll do that next. So I got that kind of cracked out. Let's use this one. Just pry. There we go. Pull the crack out, crack some of the top off, and then I should be able to remove the bottom pretty easily. Jeez. I got this pot with that had the seal on it at the thrift store. I think this one came from a local ARC thrift store. I have another one that I got at the Goodwill that had an equally hard seal. And then I didn't get a pot with this one, but I got this beehive top on Facebook Marketplace for a pretty good deal. This one's actually slightly softer, if you can believe it, than the first one I did. This video is not really a how-to, it's a kind of just a demonstration of how I'm doing it. There's different models, and this one's even a little bit different. Like this one has the skinny little spout versus the cone-shaped one that the other one I have has. And the glass one, there's not much online about the glass ones. Kind of got it because I thought it was cool, and I saw from the Facebook groups that it was kind of rare. It was kind of cool hearing about how it's a kind of a World War II production thing where they didn't have as many materials to use for coffee pot manufacturers, so they used glass, and then offered like a coupon that you could buy a metal one after the war effort ended. So that was kind of cool to learn about, and cool to have one of those. Okay, I scratched this a little bit, but you're never gonna see it. Those kind of things that you don't even know what's in there until you start to take the thing apart. I don't think these seals were ever meant to be removed this way. They were never meant to get this bad and still be in use. But I can kind of break it away, and it doesn't seem like I'm damaging the fingers. These little fingers under here. Springy fingers. That's crunch. Use my little pliers. I don't know. Getting pretty good results with pulling chunks off with these. I need to pry in between fingers to break out. There we go. So I have to kind of go finger by finger, prying this thing away. Definitely need some little tools to do this. I think this is just a cheap small screwdriver set. Gotta be careful not to poke myself. Now this should slide out a little bit. There we go. It's starting to come out. That ring is separating from the rest of it. It's so funny how crunchy this is. Overall, looks like the fingers didn't get damaged too much. Oh, there we go. Just grab the middle. Pry some of these fingers away. There we go. Very cool. Okay. Now I gotta peel this away from the middle part without breaking my hands. Try not to mar the surface too much. Jeez. I'm very glad the glass one is not as bad. Oh, there we go. Aha. Very nice. All right. Got a little bit of it still intact, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this mess and then try installing the new seal. All right, I cleaned the parts and now I'm ready to install the new seal. So I got my new seal here. I don't think for this one I need the O-ring because it's the older style. I think this is a C30A. Let me check my base to make sure. Let's see. This is a C30. Where's the name? No, it just says C30 on there. So, not even a C30A. I think what's my other one? My other one, I have some coffee in it because I just brewed it. My other one's a C30A. So my C30A has the cone funnel. This C30 has just a skinny little spout. All right, so I got this. I cleaned my fingers. And this should just kind of get in there pretty good. Apologies for my nasty nail polish. Need to redo these. There we go. And then I think this goes like this. There we go. Nice and quick. And then if I put this back how it was when I found it, put this here, and then I got this nut, and I gently tighten the nut. And let's see. I don't have, actually I might have an adjustable wrench that I can use to get this a little better. Go. All right. I'm not going to tighten this too tight because I don't want to break anything. Okay, that's probably good enough. That ain't going anywhere. Just don't want to break anything. Okay. There we go. Maybe if this was wet, it would go on a little better. Yep. Beautiful. Look at that. Let's see, at the end of this video, I'll try to, I don't want to break the handle now either. I'm sure if I had more, there we go. If I had more water in there, then this would probably go better. And I need to clean this pot. It's been sitting kind of on top of my microwave for a while, and it's got a little grease on it from just being in the kitchen. So, but that's great. I'm glad that worked. I think I'll go ahead and clean this pot now. I think I might need to tighten the handle nut too a little bit. It feels a little loose. It's like nothing's broken. My other one, this one's handle is broken, but it has an old repair of like some cloth tape, some black cloth tape. And I don't want to remove it because it looks like a good repair. I think I probably will try to, I might try to find a replacement handle for it though. But it works for now.